What are the top foods that you recommend to remove from your diet to improve the inflammatory condition?
So it really depends on your diet. Number one, because if someone comes into me and they're a vegan and they're eating a lot of whole grains and beans, I'm not going to tell them don't have beans and whole grains and they're not going to be eating anything. If someone comes into me and they're on a ketogenic diet, I'm not going to tell them don't eat red meat, because a lot of their food is going to be, hopefully grass-fed red meat or fish. So I'm not going to tell them to eliminate something that's a staple of their diet. But here are things that here are things that I remove from anybody's diet. Number one, I really reduce dairy as much as possible. Dairy is very inflammatory to the body. Maybe if you're on a farm and you have raw dairy from grass-fed cows, it actually could be beneficial because of the bacteria it gives you, the good probiotics. But in the end, dairy that's been pasteurized, the way it's processed in America, has an inflammatory effect on 99.9% of the people. So that's number one. Number two, if you are going to have a grain such as gluten or barley, or like wheat or rye or barley or spelt, which is a gluten-containing grain. Gluten is basically a protein, and these proteins, like gluten, are also called lectins. Now, lectins can go in our body and can create inflammation along our digestive tract. And when that inflammation happens, these little holes that our digestive tract has that allow small nutrients to get into our bloodstream, these holes start to widen. And so bigger molecules can get into our bloodstream and create a real bad inflammatory process that not only can affect our digestive tract, it can create inflammation that can affect our thyroid, our brain, it can affect any organ in our body. So if you come to me and you eat gluten-containing foods, lectins are also in beans or in nuts, there's a certain way of processing them that decreases these lectins or decreases the gluten content. So for the grains, number one, make sure you have sprouted grains. So again, if you come to me and you're a vegan, I'm not going to tell you not to have gluten. But if you have sprouted grains, your body's going to be able to handle it better. The lectin content will go down. It won't be so inflammatory. If you have beans or nuts, you have to make sure you soak them overnight. That really decreases the lectin content and makes the food much healthier. So sometimes it's not even telling you what food not to eat, it's telling you how to prepare it to decrease the inflammatory nature of food. So when it comes to gluten-containing foods, when it comes to beans, when it comes to nuts and seeds, which can be super healthy for a lot of people, they can be inflammatory if not prepared right or how they're processed. The other things, of course, are just simple sugars, any soda, any candy, cookies, crackers. Again, these are all types of foods that haven't been processed correctly, and the sugar itself is super bad for our system. It drives our insulin levels up and then affects how our blood flows, our red blood cell oxygen carrying ability, and so I take all sugar out of the system as well.